excellent. It's always a tough place to come, and especially early on. Every team will be full of confidence, full of momentum, trying to start the season well. So it's important that we come here and lay down a little marker. I thought first half we were excellent. Second half the game changes a little bit, but you got to win those ones as well. So excellent start, 2 from 2, and we just keep moving on. When you start well here, you give yourself a better chance. When you maybe don't start so well, the crowd get up and it can be a difficult game. So we spoke about that in the changing room, and obviously the early goal settles us right down, and then we get 2-0, and that kind of kills the game for us. We'd like to go 3-4, but on another day we'll try and get that. But clean sheet again, excellent, good start for us.
This is the Celtic Forever podcast. 2-0 to Celtic. Bit of a breeze, if I'm being honest with you. A good game. Took the foot off the gas at 2-0. Game finished 2-0. We'll bring in John. How are you, John? What did you think of the game today?
It was all right. It's okay. Wasn't it the best game to watch? Obviously, when Celtic came fast out the traps, I was expecting a lot more. But no, that's the way it stayed to the end.
Yeah, that's the way it stayed. The second half was, wasn't as good as the first half, obviously. But we're going to go through the full game bit by bit. We're going to get through the 1 to 10 individual scores as well, John. We're going to get through everything, stats the lot. We're going to go through it all. But first I'll go through some housekeeping. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. If you don't mind, subscribe. Try and get the subscriptions up a wee bit, because they've been at the same for a few months now, going up 1 or 2 a week. So we need to try and get the subscriptions up. So hit that as well if you don't mind. And I also want to mention the competition for next week as well, John. Celtic against Hibs at Celtic Park. So the competition is same old, John. All I'm looking for is the correct score, 1 guess each. What will the final score be against Hibs next Sunday, I think it is, in the League Cup? 1 guess each into the comment section. Obviously, if there's more than 1 correct entry, it will go to a draw, and that is to win the new prizes, John, the Celtic plaques, metal plaques, Celtic wall plaque. And with this week, we're giving away the Kyogo wall plaque. There it is, John, on the screen, Kyogo wall plaque. That's the prize. So get entering, folks, into the competition, and good luck, everybody, with that one. Right, John, let's get into the game then. So, crowd of 17,000 watched Celtic play Hibs. Beautiful sunny day as well, wasn't it, John? Beautiful day at Easter Road. Celtic came out the traps really fast, didn't they? Really fast, slick passing, lovely to watch football. And the new strip as well just looked lovely in that sunshine.
I like the new strip. Looks really nice, doesn't it? Celtic, they're not been known for fantastic away strips, but I really do like that one, Xander. And the yellow with the green shorts, the yellow socks. I really like that strip. 10 out of 10 with that one.
Yeah, it looked nice, especially in the sunshine as well, John. And before we get into the game as well, I noticed it was really warm today, maybe about 22, 23 degrees in Glasgow anyway. I don't know what it was like in Edinburgh. But I noticed yet again, John, no water break for the Celtic and Hibs players.
Well, I don't know how warm it was in Edinburgh, but it looked like a really hot day. So, maybe that kind of zapped the players' energy a wee bit, Xander, the heat, because it did look like a really hot day there.
Yeah, very, very hot. And it's very hot here in Glasgow. So I think it was similar through in Edinburgh. So no water break anyway. As you say, that could have been something to do with a sort of a slower pace second half for John, wouldn't it? But we'll get to the second half in about 15 minutes. So the third minute, John, just straight into it. We get the goal, a very early goal, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, something like that. It was the first goal, just a tap in for Kuhn, but it was a shot from Kyogo, John, saved by the goalkeeper, and Forrest done brilliant to cut it back for the tap in for Kuhn. Just James Forrest, John, he's a brilliant player. He also has been a brilliant player for Celtic, but he's still doing it at 33. He cuts the ball back for a tap in for Nicholas Kuhn. 1-0 Celtic.
It was all about James Forrest, that, how alert James Forrest was. Just, he's unbelievable, isn't he? He's 33 years old, still got it. The alertness, the sharpness, still there. Beautiful cut back for Nicholas Kuhn, or cross back, if you like. Absolutely perfect pace on it, just for Nicholas Kuhn to stick his foot out, and can't miss for there. And it's all about James Forrest there, and Nicholas Kuhn, of course. He's in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, right place, right time for a tap in. 3 minutes, John, not even 3 minutes gone, couple of minutes gone. I thought Kyogo should have laid the ball off originally to Nicholas Kuhn, but he went for the shot. And I'm sort of glad he did, because it ended up in the back of the net anyway, John. So I'm sort of glad Kyogo hit the shot, but he could have laid it off to Kuhn earlier.
Well, I think everybody was thinking that when you see Kuhn, he's flying on the right-hand side just for a pass to him. I think he probably would have stuck it away anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But look, it worked out fortunately for Celtic. Very fortunate. James Forrest, great pace, great sharpness, crosses it right back across the 6-yard box, and Kuhn thankfully continued his run anyway. So that it worked out perfect.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. All right. So nice and slick, sharp, lovely football again. Same as Commander last week. The first 25 minutes in the first half, it was really nice to watch. Hibs are trying to stamp their authority in the game with some hard tackles from behind. One on Kyogo in the 6th minute from Campbell, yellow card for him. Then another one, free kick, and that resulting yellow card. John was right into the wall from Matt O'Reilly. Then another tackle from the back, John. That was on Kuhn, I think it was, from Newell. Newell picks up a yellow card as well. 2 early yellow cards for Hibs there, John, the 6th minute and the 8th minute for Campbell and Newell. What are you thinking there?
I was thinking one of them's going to end up getting sent off the way this referee's flashing these yellow cards.
Mm-hmm.
2 deserved yellow cards at the end of the day. Don't think there was any malice in them. Just basically 2 yellow card tackles, so correct decisions.
Yeah, correct decision. And what about the next yellow card, John, 3 or 4 minutes later for Scales? That was a dive. I know there was maybe a slight clip, I don't know, but it looked like nothing in it. And then he throws himself to the floor. Scales gets the yellow card, John, 13th minute. Do you think that was a bit harsh?
I think it was a bit harsh. Not just because I'm a Celtic fan, but I didn't think that was a booking, no. I agree with you. I think he threw his celled in.
Yeah, it was soft. I mean, I suppose maybe he felt as though he had to give it because of the 2 that he gave a couple of minutes before. But that's no reason to book a Celtic player, John. If a Hibs player decides to throw himself to the ground for the slightest of coming together, to be honest with you, he's thrown himself to the ground a couple of seconds after the initial contact. Anyway, John, the yellow card's given. Scales is booked, so he has to watch what he's doing for the rest of the game. Then Hibs get an effort on goal, one of the very few efforts they did have, one goal in the 14th minute. It was a corner kick, basically. Basic stuff. The corner kick header over the bar for Hibs. So that was the only chance they really had in the first half, to be honest with you. What do you think Hibs' performance today in the first half, John? They never got anywhere near Celtic, did they?
No, I don't know if it's Celtic. Obviously, they played similar to the way they did against Kilmarnock the previous week.
Mm-hmm.
Hibs couldn't get near them. It's as simple as that. Celtic were too fast, too slick with the passing. Their movement, the players' movement was fantastic. They were all over the place, and Hibs couldn't live with that. So I thought Hibs. I'm not going to say they were poor. They just couldn't live with Celtic's movement. And Chris Boyd at the end, what was it? He says embarrassing and all that stuff. Who's this guy trying to kid?
Yeah, who was the same as embarrassing, John?
Hibs.
Yeah, well, Celtic, nobody can get near Celtic just now. There's no embarrassment in that. And it was a respectable scoreline as well, John, 2-0 at the final whistle. How's that embarrassing? Getting beat 2-0 with Celtic, the champions, the double champions. Just watching the Aberdeen game now, John, and the Aberdeen players and the St Mirren players are having a water break.
I was just about to say that. I was watching that myself. Look, I don't know I've not been out today, so I don't know how hot it is, and I don't live in Aberdeen, and I don't live in Edinburgh or Glasgow, so I don't know. It's a wee bit cloudy here, so I don't know. It must be really hot in Aberdeen as well. I think the Celtic players and the Hibs players should have had a water break, judging by the rest of the country. You says it's hot in Glasgow, it's hot in Aberdeen, and I'm sure it was hot in Edinburgh as well. So there you go. Maybe that's the reason for the lethargic second half.
Yeah, possibly, John. There wasn't a cloud in the sky in Edinburgh either. But we'll move on. Another chance for Celtic, John. Kyogo through the goalkeeper. Went up 1-1 with the goalkeeper. Slots his shot wide of the post. think the wee man's got to be doing a lot better there, John. To me, that was a, for a player like Kyogo anyway, he should be sticking that in the back of the net for about 15 yards out. And he hits a bit, maybe 2 yards wide, John. I don't know what's wrong with the wee man there, but anybody can miss a chance. But it's Kyogo we're talking about, and I think he should have buried that.
Aye, there was a few chances Kyogo should have buried the day. Like, I don't think he was getting great service, to be honest with you, but he did miss a few very simple chances. So, I just think he had a pretty poor performance today, Xander, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he wasn't able to sell, and he obviously went off injured as well. We'll get to that later. The second goal comes 19th minute, Callum. Just a lovely wee assist, by the way, from Nicholas. Just a wee drags the Hibs players towards him and then just leaves it off to Callum, who's in acres of space, John, to rattle the ball for about 25, maybe 27 yards out. What a finish for Callum McGregor. Just retired from international duty. All his worries are behind him with that. He's put that to one side. He's concentrating on Celtic, John, and what a beautiful contender for goal of the season already for Callum McGregor, 2-0 Celtic.
Aye, that was beautiful. What a finish. It was just sheer power. No keeper was getting close to that, were they? It was a beautiful finish by Callum McGregor. And we've seen him hit them from that distance before, Callum, so we know he's capable from that distance. And aye, that was outstanding to go to Easter Road and score a goal like that. Unbelievable. If that was an English Premiership, they'd be screaming about it, it would be everywhere. But aye, well done, Kilmac. That was an outstanding finish, Sander. 10 out of 10 with that one. Beautiful.
Yeah, lovely, wasn't it? And a nice wee assist, John, for Kuhn. Lovely wee layoff, straight into acres of space. That was lovely for Kuhn, wasn't it?
Aye, it was outstanding work from Nicholas Kuhn again. Aye, like Callum McGregor had all the time in the world to pick where he wanted to place that. Hibs defenders were too slow in getting out to Callum, so they had all the time in the world. But your average player would have probably just hit that into a ruck of players, but Callum picks his spot right into the top of the net. Just an outstanding finish, Sander. Aye, and well done, Nicholas Kuhn, with the assist as well.
Yeah, right up until this point, John, it was lovely to watch, wasn't it? Up until the second goal, beautiful. Then we sort of take our feet off the gas. We have another chance. Actually, it's nearly an own goal from O'Hara, I think his name is, the boy O'Hara for Hibs. On goal, off the bar, nearly 3-0. That would have really put the game well and truly to bed. But it comes off the bar, bounces out, and near chance there for Celtic. Then another shot from Matt Riley in the 23rd minute. That's about 20 yards out, maybe a foot or two over the bar. So plenty of chances in the first half there, John. We just weren't clinical enough in the final third in the 18-yard box.
Well, this is it. You've got to take your chances, and we did, like you say, we had plenty of chances to put them to bed in the first half. And the day, that was a similar story to last season. No taking our chances. Luckily, we took a couple of chances, and we finished the game 2-0. So, similar to last season's, and a similar story there. No taking your chances. And if Celtic took their chances, like you say, it could have been 5-6 at half time, and that's the game finished. So I agree with you there.
Yeah. Another other thing that happened in the first half, John, because we sort of slowed the pace down of the game. I think after maybe the 25th minute, we sort of slowed it down. We're still in total control. Don't get me wrong, absolutely total control. Hibs didn't have a look in, especially the first half. The only other thing that happened was the foul on Alistair Johnston. Maybe it was a 50-50, but he gave the free kick to Hibs anyway, John. That was nothing given. I thought it was quite a reckless tackle in the box, but the referee gave it a foul to Hibs, believe it or not. So what did you think of that? Right in half time, I think it was Alistair Johnston running into the box, and the Hibs player tries to clear it, but I don't know if he gets anywhere near the ball, does he?
No, it never looked to me like he got anywhere near the ball. So I think that was a wrong decision by the referee there. I think VAR did look at it and awarded absolutely nothing for it. But I don't think that the Hibs player. So I don't think Alistair Johnston was trying to dive or cheat or anything to win a penalty. I think that was a penalty, Sander.
I think it was. I was watching it with wee Matthew, grandson, again. I couldn't believe it. He gave the free kick to Hibs. Anyway, John, it doesn't matter. Half-time whistle goes. Cruise control, foot off the gas as well. It was a funny game the day, wasn't it, John? It was never any doubt, especially after the early 2 goals. But let's run through some stats. 374 accurate passes from Celtic to Hibs, 75 accurate passes. 76% possession for Celtic to Hibs 24. Shots on target. Celtic had 7 shots, 3 on target, and Hibs had 0 shots at all. So just total domination, John, for the first half of Celtic there.
Aye, that was totally dominant. Like you says, Hibs had nothing on target.
No.
I just thought Hibs going forward, they were pretty poor. They never really get a chance to go forward, did they, actually? In the first half, the Celtic contained them pretty well. But like you says, I think the heat had a lot to do with that game today. I definitely do. I was thinking that when I was watching, I was thinking, how hot is it there, actually? Because obviously here, I've not been outside the day, so I don't know how hot it is. But judging by the Aberdeen game as well, they've just scored, by the way, Aberdeen.
Yeah. Just caught up with that there, John. Yeah, 1-0 Aberdeen.
Aberdeen 1, Hibs 0. But I think there should have been a water break the day, Xander. I definitely think there should have been a water break the other day. The Hibs players looked really tired in the first half, didn't they? I think they were chasing Celtic's tails the whole first half. That doesn't help things, does it?
No, that's it, John. It's you're going to look at it for both sets of players needing a water break there. I thought that was quite poor, to be honest with you. But every other team's getting their water breaks, but the Celtic players and Hibs players didn't get the water break. Was that a direct goal for a corner for Aberdeen, or did the boy get a touch? I think the boy got a touch, didn't he? 1-0 to Aberdeen against St Mirren. Yeah, the boy got the touch. It looked like a direct goal for a corner, didn't it, John?
If I got a touch on that, it was maybe one of his hairs or something. It didn't look like there was any touch under. That looked like a direct goal from a corner.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? It was some corner. Anyway, back to the game. Back to the Celtic game. Second half kicks off, John, and right away, within a minute and a half, we've hit the post again. And it's McGregor off the post, 47th minute. Second minute of the second half, so the domination started early in the second half as well. Unlucky there, John, shot off the post.
Aye, well, an inch more to the left that was in the net. So aye, good effort from Callum McGregor yet again. No, Hibs players spent the first half trying to nullify Callum McGregor, didn't they? They were trying to keep him quiet, but they never managed it, to be honest with you. They seem to forget as well, if you spend all your time trying to keep Callum McGregor quiet, there's another 9 outfield players there that are just as good.
Yeah.
That Celtic players' movement in the first half was incredible, Xander.
Yeah, that's it, John. It's good to watch Celtic just now. I know we're Celtic supporters, and it's always good to watch Celtic, but the style of football now is top class. All right, let's move on. 51st minute, a shot for Kyogo, saved by the goalkeeper. Not much to say about that. Kyogo was a wee bit wasteful today, but he was still there and thereabouts. Kyogo, and he was still making a nuisance of himself. Then the 54th minute, John, the stamp in the box on Kyogo's foot. This is the one Kyogo's lying down in the ground injured. I think he was knocked about the day a wee bit, Kyogo, wasn't he? He was getting battle fit, pillar to post with the big Hibs defenders.
Aye. There was quite a few high crosses into the box today. You're not going to get any joy with Kyogo up front with high crosses. You imagine that was Big Adam either. He'd have been bullying the defenders. It'd have been another way about.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was wee Kyogo. Aye, and he took a bit of a battering today as well. I think he damaged his shoulder, his foot, and eventually get took off. Aye.
Yeah, that's right, John. It was a beta that stamped in his foot. That was quite a badging. That was really painful. Inside the box, I might add, John, that was not even looked at by VAR either. A stamp in the foot when you're going for the ball, to me, that's a foul. But anyway, that wasn't given either. So we can only move on, John, wouldn't it? As you say, Kyogo in the wars. He looked in agony when he came off. Anyway, all right, John. we move on. The 60th minute, a couple of chances, Kyogo and Kuhn, both missing chances at the box. Just more wastefulness, if I'm being honest with you, John. Another couple of chances wasted there to bury Hibs to make it 3-0. Just didn't happen, did it? That third goal just wasn't going to come.
No, I had a feeling there wasn't going to be a third goal. I just had that feeling watching the second half. There's definitely no a third goal coming here. I couldn't see it happening. I couldn't see Hibs scoring either, right enough.
No. We'll get to their one and only chance in a minute. But you're right, John. The longer the game went on, the less likely it was Celtic were going to score a third goal. It looked like, Okay, substitutions. We had Jamesy off. James Forrest had a decent game. Maeda on. Then we had, in the 73rd minute, Bernardo on. Hatate off, who I thought was very quiet the day. Hatate gave the ball away a few times as well. But, it's allowed. No every player's perfect. And then we had Mikey Johnston on, and Kyogo finally went off, John. So just hope the wee man's fit for next Saturday against Hibs, because as we said there, he was in the wars and he looked like he was in a bit of pain when he went off the park.
I think he'll be okay for next week. I know he kind of hurt his shoulder, but he seemed to carry on with that. It didn't seem to upset him that much. The stamp on the foot, I don't think that will keep him out the game next week, Xander. I think he'll be okay.
Okie doke. Good. We're glad to hear it. Hope you're right, John. Okay, with a shot for Mikey Johnston on the 79th minute. A decent wee shot and turn, on the half turn, if you like, for about 20 yards out. Shot just wide. Decent effort. Off target, though, John, just wide. Mikey Johnston looking quite sharp.
I was very surprised to see him playing up front. I definitely thought that they put Dyson up front.
Yeah.
Because he plays up front for Japan, so why can he not be playing up front for Celtic? That did surprise me, that one, Xander, to be honest with you. Mikey Johnston given the position up front. That's a strange decision, that.
Yeah, very strange. I said to my grandson as well, that's Maeda. Maeda's going to come on and Kyogo is going to go off and they'll put Maeda up front. But as you say, John, it just didn't happen. They put Maeda on the left and took James Forrest off. Anyway, I thought that was strange, to be honest with you. Okay, moving on. Another couple of substitutes. We've got Alistair off and Anthony Ralston on in the 81st minute. And then Kuhn came off for Yang. That was the other substitute. So Kuhn still hasn't lasted 90 minutes, John. So that's my target for the season, for Kuhn to last 90 minutes, John, but he came off. Decent game for Kuhn.
Aye, definitely. I thought he had a great game, Nicholas Kuhn.
Yeah.
A few of the players had really good games. It'd be good to see Nicholas last the full 90 minutes, like you says, because we haven't seen that yet. But look, where he's on the park, he does an outstanding job anyway. So a good performance from Nicholas Kuhn.
Yeah, he played really well. Man of the match performance, but we'll get to the man of the match in a minute. Who you thought was man of the match, John? I'll give you mine, but let's wrap up the game because we're getting to near the end of the game. 85th minute, Hibs finally get their shot, and it's a nice wee turn for this boy inside the box. Shot off the bar. Can't remember the boy's name. Is it Boney? I don't know. I can't remember the boy's name. But it's a decent shot, John. Nice wee turn. Turn the defender inside out off the bar. Very unlucky, the boy. That was a good effort for the Hibs striker.
Aye. It kind of turned Big Carter Vickers inside out there. He was unlucky. Comes off the face of the bar and goes out for a throw in, I think.
Bowie, sorry, it was John Bowie, the big effort.
Aye, we'll take Boney. Boney sounds better.
Bowie was a decent effort, by the way. He was a decent wee player, him. But okay, it was over the hit the bar, went over and wide, so it doesn't really matter. Still 2-0. 86th minute, we've got Johnston with his nose in tatters, John, the header or the punch for the goalkeeper inside the box. They've got the Hibs fans booing. Every Hibs fan to a man standing booing this boy with his nose in tatters, blood everywhere. He's got a black eye. You can't see out his black eye. John, where the these Hibs fans thinking about booing this boy when he's on the ground with a head knock and his nose bleeding and he can't see to one eye? Obviously, the Hibs fans don't know. He can't see it with one eye, but they can see he's in distress and he's laid out on the park, John, and they're booing him.
Aye, well, obviously, the Hibs fans think there's some kind of time wasting going on there. Surely they don't think Celtic are trying to waste time against that garbage, do they? I mean, it's night and day between the two teams. Celtic are a class outfit. They surely don't think Celtic are wasting time. But the keeper comes out. Look, the keeper's got every right to come for that and try and punch it away. Xander, unfortunately, he's caught wee Mikey flush between the eye and the nose. Has busted his nose. His eyes all swollen up. He's obviously a bit sparkled as well. He's dizzy, so he's got to come off. And the Hibs fans are booing that. Like they think Celtic are trying to waste time. That's all I can think. But like Mara taught to that is, why would Celtic waste time against that garbage?
That's it, John. It's unbelievable. Celtic are cruising at 2-0 with a couple of minutes to go. To be honest with you, it's never a foul or anything like that, John. That's not what we're talking about here. It's the reaction to these Hibs supporters. You know, that boy, he obviously was in some distress, John, and he had to come off with his injury as well 2 minutes later. So, well done, Hibs fans. Very professional fans that know what they're looking at on the field. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, John. I thought it was pretty pathetic. St Mirren have just equalised, John.
Aye. I was just turning around to watch it there, sorry. But I must have missed it. But there you go. Aye, that's Aberdeen 1, St Mirren 1, everybody. Anybody that's got a wee bet on the day or whatever?
Yeah, that's it, John. It was a tap-in for St Mirren, so that's one each. All right, John, let's wrap up the game then. Mikey came off, didn't he? Thiago Holm came on last couple of minutes, wasn't it? But that was it. Nothing else really happened in the game. Full-time whistle goes. Celtic 2, Hibs 0, Easter Road. A good away win there, John. A totally dominant performance, although slightly wasteful at the same time.
Aye, well, look, it's traditionally a place Celtic struggle at. Into Easter Road, Celtic traditionally struggle there. There was no struggle today, Xander. I just thought the players looked tired, probably because of the heat or whatever. And like you say, there should have been a water break. But aye, there was no struggle the other day. Pretty straightforward win, Xander.
Yeah, straightforward as they come, John. 2 wins out of 2. Top of the league again. We weren't off the top for very long, were we? So, yeah. Roll on the next league game. That's all I can say. Obviously, we have a break next weekend with the League Cup. I think it's Hibs we play at Celtic Park Sunday, 3:00 kick-off. We'll touch on that just before the end of the podcast. 1 to 10 individual performances then. What were you thinking?
This is tough today, this one, because it was a game of two halves, really. And for me, it's always hard to pick a man of the match when it's like that. But I thought Kasper Schmeichel, his distribution is better than Joe Hart-Sander. I don't care what anybody says. His distribution is class. His distribution, like passing it to the defenders and stuff, is absolutely astounding. I'm going to give him an 8 today. Because not because he had to pull off any saves or anything, but because I like what I see when it comes to distribution with goalkeepers, and I thought he was brilliant. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought he's passing it for a goalkeeper, John. You've got to remember he's a goalkeeper. It's as good as any player on the park. Brilliant. And some of his vision and his sort of long passes are straight to the feet. Outstanding. Yeah, I'll give him my scores later, John, but that's I agree with that. I agree with giving Kasper an 8 today.
Aye, I thought there was one incident he kicked it out of the park, but other than that, a perfect performance. No saves to make or anything, but because of the distribution, anybody wondering why I'm spending time on this, just look at his performance, passing out, he's outstanding, Xander. So he gets an 8. Liam Scales, I thought, looked a bit iffy a lot of the times through the game. I'll give him a 6.
Right.
A wee bit iffy, Liam Scales at times, I think.
Right.
Generally had a kind of average game, so I'll give him a 6. Carter Vickers, give him a 7. Greg Taylor gets an 8. I thought Greg was outstanding the days under. He gets an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Alistair Johnson, I'll give him a 7. Centre of the park, Callum McGregor, 8.5. Matt O'Reilly, 7.5. Hatate, 6.5. Up front, Kyogo 5. Nicholas Kuhn 8. And James Forrest, for the time he was on, I'll give him a 7, Xander.
Yeah, it was a sort of mixed bag there, wasn't it, with the players of the day. Some on form, some slightly wasteful. It was a good performance, but there was moments in the game where, we were quite slack, to be honest. Even the manager admitted that after the game. Okay, I'll give you a quickly run through mine then, John. I think I'll agree with Casper. I'm going to give him an 8 for his distribution alone. It was flawless, apart from that one he kicked out the park. But every goalkeeper does that in the game at one point. Then we had Alistair Johnson, 7.5. Thought he was decent, a bit better than last week. Cameron, solid as usual. Give him an 8. Scalesy, I thought he was, John, I disagree with you. I thought he had a brilliant game. I thought Scales played well. I'm going to give him a 7.5. Taylor, 8. I thought he was decent as well. Callum, 9. Thought he was, just gave away my man in the match. Callum, I'm going to give him a 9 because I thought he was man in the match, basically. Matt O'Reilly, some nice touches, etc. I'll give him a 7.5. Hatate, I thought was quiet, John. 6.5 for Hatate. Kuhn, 7.5. Kyogo, 6.5. And Forrest, 7.5. What do you think of these scores, John?
Well, I don't agree with Liam Scales having any kind of great game. Although between your points and my points, I gave him a 6.5, you gave him a 7.5. There's no much difference in that.
No.
Me personally, he kind of stood out with a couple of mistakes today, Xander, so that's why my score is 6.5 for Liam Scales. But aye. I think the markings are kind of similar.
Oh, yep. Okay. And who is your man of the match then, John? Who are you thinking? And by the way, sorry, John, just to interrupt. It is man of the match, no player of the match or anything like that. Garbage. We're talking about the man of the match. So who's your man of the match, John?
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm fed up hearing this player of the match stuff. There's 22 men on that park, therefore it's man of the match.
Yeah.
Get that right, commentators, or people that interview. It's man of the match when there's 22 men playing on the park. If there's a women's game on, it's women of the match. Women of the match.
Yeah, that's it, John. Well said.
It's no person of the match. That makes me cringe when I hear that, Xander.
Yeah.
I've been watching football for just over 50 years. Well, I'm just over 50 years old, I mean. But at the time I've been watching football, it's been man of the match. And it will stay that way to the day I die. It's man of the match. So thanks for bringing that up. And my man of the match for the day, all day, Callum McGregor.
Yeah, Callum McGregor, yeah. It's, how good was it? And that's the very first game after retiring from international football, John. And it puts in a performance like that. Outstanding. Unbelievable. I'm glad you agree with me, and I agree with you because some of the players played well in phases of the game and then dropped out, and then it was just one of the funny performances. But Callum was just brilliant from start to finish, and that's why he's the captain.
Aye, and that's why he's person of the match.
Yeah, person of the match. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, good choice, John. Man of the match. Obviously, the official man of the match was Nicholas Kuhn, who did have a decent game, John. But I think Callum was just that wee bit better, that wee bit more consistent, and just that wee bit more fluent in the middle of the park.
I thought Callum was outstanding the whole game, Xander.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy that's 31 years old, he's still got it, the ability he's got, the movement that he's got, the way he turns players. He's so quick at turning players.
Mm-hmm.
Hibs couldn't live with him. They tried to keep him quiet. They failed to do that. Like Callum McGregor, to me, was the only player that had an outstanding performance. I should have gave him a 9, actually, but there you go. I thought, Callum McGregor, definitely man of the match all day for me, Xander. He was outstanding.
Yeah, totally agree, John. Yeah, well said. All right, John, so that's it. That's us done. The post-match for the game, that's it. Celtic 2, Hibs nothing. It was a breeze, really. It was a breeze. Hibs offered nothing, didn't they?
Sorry, I had the mute button on there, Xander. Hibs did offer nothing. I thought they were poor, to be honest with you. again, it's a mix of Celtic being really good and Hibs being really poor, although Celtic fell out in the second half. But Hibs, to me, offered absolutely nothing. One shot on target the whole game, that says it all, Xander.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. We'll quickly run through a couple of full-time stats then, John, right? 74% possession for Celtic to Hibs 26. So that's no surprise there. 19 shots to 4. Obviously, Celtic had 7 on target. Hibs had 0 on target. And Celtic completed 641 passes to Hibs 156. Just total domination, John. Going by the stats as well.
Aye, the stats don't lie. 200 less passes than they had against Kilmarnock.
Yeah, I noticed that, John. Funny enough, since we started doing these stats. So that just tells you that we're right when we say some players dropped out and maybe they were just tired. You know, it was a sort of I wouldn't say lackluster, but it was a lower level of performance in the second half, especially later on in the second half.
Aye, it definitely was. The first half, I thought Celtic were really good, dominated it, deserved to be 2-0 up. It could have been 5 or 6, but the second half was lethargic, and it could have been the heat that caused that, Xander. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right, John, fair dues. And let's have a wee touch on next week's game then, against Hibs at Celtic Park in the Cup. That's it's going to be tough. None of these games against Hibs are easy, right? It was okay the day. It was comfortable enough the day, but we didn't think it was going to be that comfortable. So next weekend, it's going to be the same. Hibs are going to, especially at Celtic Park, they're going to flood their own box and try and defend, hit Celtic on the counter-attack, but Celtic should be just too strong for Hibs again next Sunday, John.
We'll wait and see. But I think it's going to be a different story at Celtic Park. I think they will defend a lot more, Hibs, although they did defend a lot today. But I think next week, I think it'll be a similar type performance. They'll try and hit Celtic in the counter-attack. And thankfully today, they never managed that. And I don't think they'll manage it next week either, Xander.
Yeah. We'll do a full preview next weekend. Obviously, we're going to do a preview of the game. And obviously, there's going to be a podcast in midweek if there's any signings over the line eventually, because we think that Adam Ida signing is quite close. So if that happens, we'll do a wee half-hour podcast on that. But just a quick mention of the competition as well for next week's game against Hibs. Mention it one more time before we get to the comments. Correct score, 1 guess each against Hibs next Sunday. That's what we're looking for. 1 guess each to win the Kyogo Celtic wall plaque there, made of steel. Top quality prize given away there. Obviously, if there's more than one correct entry, it will need to go to a draw. So good luck with everybody with the competition. With the new prize, good luck everybody entering that. Comments, John, what have we got comments-wise?
All right, do you think Adam Ida would have made a difference today if he was on the Partizan? Do you think he might have got a couple of their goals,
Yes, I think Ida would have, there was a lot of their balls into the box. There was one actual particular cross, I think it was Kuhn. Nicholas Kuhn crossed into the box, and it was perfect for a player like Adam Ida. I think Kyogo went to the near post, and I think Forrest was at the back post, and Nicholas played it right into the centre where Adam Ida would have been if we'd have buried it. Yeah, John, I think Adam would have made a difference today, but he's not our player quite yet, so we just need to hope that we get him over the line or another striker over the line, John. We just need to get another striker over the line as soon as possible. But Kyogo could easily have been injured today, John, and missing the next couple of games.
It could have been, but I think Adam Ida would have made a difference. And like he says, we definitely need another striker in as soon as possible because Kyogo gets injured. It's game's a bogey for us. We've only got Mikey Johnson or Dyson Maeda to play up front, but that's for another day to talk about. Let's get into the comments. And Rosemary was up first and says, Rivals Corner, love it.
Rivals Corner, yeah, John. I've got a wee bit here for the Rivals Corner actually, but it's nothing important. So we'll continue with the comments just now, and I'll maybe do a wee Rivals Corner at the very end. Yeah, it's just a wee new feature, John. A lot of people like it, so I'm sticking with it. If you're happy to stick with it, Rivals Corner, would you think it, John?
I don't mind it. Aye, it gives us something to talk about. It gives us something to laugh at. So I'm all for it.
That's it, John. It can be quite funny as well, but they are our closest challengers. They always will be our closest challengers. So we need to talk about them. We need to keep our eye on what they're doing as well, John. And that's why we do it.
Aye, well, any Rangers fans think, why do you get a rivals corner? Well, the reason being, we can talk about whatever we want. It's none of your business. You don't like it, don't listen.
Yeah, well, that's it, John. And you know, it's the rivals corner is just there to update the Celtic supporters on what's happening across the water. You know, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. We just like to talk about it, so everybody knows what we're up against, especially when we come up against them.
Aye, exactly. And I'm still laughing at the fact they've got the big placards outside Hampden saying Rangers football.
Yeah, John. Let's touch on the let's touch on the rivals corner. We'll do it now. We'll do it after before the comments, sorry, or in the middle of the comments, should I say? BBC, John. The BBC. Rangers keep with tradition at Hampden Park, hanging up a picture of Prince Charles. They've hung up a picture of Prince Charles in the changing room at Hampden, John, and the BBC are reporting that Rangers are keeping up with tradition. Unbelievable. What do you think of that, John?
I don't know.
Big sausage fingers in the dressing room.
Sausage fingers. Sausage fingers. I don't know why would anybody want a picture of him on your wall? He'd give you heebie-jeebies, that guy, you know.
Yeah, that's it. I just thought that was funny, especially when the BBC are reporting it on being a traditional thing, a good thing for Rangers. You know, it's absolutely laughable, John. What else did we have in the rivals corner? Kettlewell, the Motherwell manager, saying that he's never came across the likes of his team or any of his teams having 10 or 11 first team players out against Rangers on Saturday, John. So that's what Rangers were up against on Saturday. I didn't know that, John, that Motherwell were missing practically the full team.
No, I never either. Motherwell reserves.
Yeah.
And that falls in line with other pre-season games, wouldn't it? Birmingham reserves and all that, getting beat with them. I can't get all that. A picture of Prince Charlie on their dressing room. What's that all about?
I don't know, John. I don't know what that's all about, to be honest with you. They've got to let that go. You know, if they want to move forward as a club, they've got to let nonsense like that go. But that's up to them what they do. I just find it extremely funny. And the only other bit of news, well, not really news, was I was listening to that European game in midweek, John. Listening to a bit of it on the radio. Ferguson on the BBC again, John. This is Ferguson, Derek Ferguson. This is one of their main, co-commentators or analysts, whatever you want to call this guy. And they're talking to him before the game, halfway through the game, and he's hitting out with a "we, John. We this. We need to do this. We need to do that." I thought he was meant to be unbiased, and they are doing a professional job for the BBC. So all these license payers are paying money for Rangers TV.
He's funny, Derek Ferguson. I just laugh at him. Looks like Dyson Maeda. He's turned the pages, Ferguson, I call him, because of the total unprofessionalism of his journalism. When he's reading out his post-match stuff, you can hear the pages turning and all that. Turn the page, Ferguson. He shouldn't be saying we. If you're working for the BBC, you should be as neutral as you possibly can. And he's always been very unprofessional anyway, and that's no surprise with him.
No, you're right, John. He is very unprofessional, and I totally agree with that. He's pretty pathetic, actually. But, for these people that are listening to the game that are not Rangers supporters, like myself, like plenty of other people, he's not there as a cheerleader for Rangers, John. The licensed players want to hear unbiased commentary, unbiased opinions, John. And basically, when I was listening to that, it did sound like Rangers TV.
I don't know. And Derek Ferguson, maybe that's the reason why I don't pay my BBC licence fee, because of Derek Ferguson. Nah, I don't pay it because I don't watch the telly, but that's as good a reason as any, isn't it? The total biased opinions of these ex-Rangers players on BBC, it's unbelievable, Xander. I don't listen to it for that very reason.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't like the BBC at all. Anything they ever do, I don't like them. The only one from the BBC I like is the commentator. What's his name again? The
Liam McLeod?
Liam McLeod. He's the only one I like off the BBC.
Yeah. Yeah, that I like him as well, John. But when did you ever hear Pat Bonner saying, we this, we that, or Murdo McLeod, we this, we that, or any other sort of Celtic-minded commentators or analysts, John? When did you ever hear any of them saying we? I never heard it once, ever.
No, you've got to be impartial when you're on the BBC, really. But that's something you don't get with these ex-Rangers players. They find it very difficult to be impartial. They can't hide their love for Rangers. They can't hide it. And I'm still laughing at the motivational picture of King Charles in the changing room. It's hilarious.
All right, John. We'll get back to that then. That's the Rivals Corner for the day. Just a wee short one. Just a few wee things I wanted to bring up. Tell us what you think in the comments, folks. Speaking of comments, John, let's get back to it. What else have you got for us? Who was the last commenter? Was it Rosemary? Roseanne?
It was Rosemary.
Rosemary, right. Yeah, she gave us a lot to talk. She gave us a lot to talk about there, so thanks for that, Rosemary.
Aye, and I just can't get out of the fact that they've got Rangers Football Club outside Hampden. Like I keep saying, that is not your stadium. Take your stupid placards down. That stadium belongs to Queen's Park. It's nothing to do with you. Take your placards down. Take your stupid photo at your changing room and get back to Ibrox as soon as you can.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, John. It's the SFA should be making them take that down because it's them that run the stadium, you know. So the SFA get your finger out and get them tell. That's all I'll say in that, John.
Aye, well, when Celtic played at Hampden, when they were building a new stadium, they never had big placards at Celtic Football Club outside it. Get your stupid placards down. There's nothing to do with you. You're borrowing a stadium off a team that play in the Championship or wherever Queen's Park play. Get your stupid placards down. It's nothing to do with you. Just
yeah. We'll see what happens for the next game. See if they're still there, John. But I don't think they'll be taking anything down, to be honest with you, because you know what they're like. You know, they are the people at the end of the day.
Aye, big sausage, big sausage fingers in the changing room.
All right, John. Let's move on. What else have we got?
Top class, top qualities, and they're always good for a laugh.
Next up, that's why we do it, John. That's why we do it.
Michael McKeog says, a Galty Mountain boy. Great show as always, man. Mighty crack. He says his favourite drink is Guinness. His favourite food is fillet steak, roast spuds, cabbage, onions and mushrooms. His favourite film is The Outlaw Josie Wales. His favourite podcast is the Celtic Forever podcast.
All right.
He says, hail, hail, up the Rebels. 6-1 Celtic, I thought. So what do you think? Would you think Guinness is his favourite drink? Would you think of that?
I used to love Guinness, to be honest with you, John. It's a lovely drink. It really is. I obviously stopped drinking Guinness a long time ago, but I don't know if you've ever tried it yourself, John. Have you? It's an absolutely stunning pint.
I've tried Guinness. I don't drink, obviously. I don't drink anymore, but when I did, I quite enjoyed a wee pint of Guinness. I just love Guinness. But when I did have a pint, a nice freezing pint of Guinness is beautiful, Sander. I do like it.
Well done, Michael. I agree with you there. It's not my favourite. My favourite's a wee dram. I like a wee dram, but I used to love a Guinness. Fillet steak, John. What's a fillet steak? I'm used to just normal steak. I don't know what a fillet steak is.
I don't know. A fillet of steak, just a wee fillet of steak. I'm not a big steak lover, but you could take it like a fillet of steak, a fillet of fish, or whatever. You know, chicken fillets. Is it no batter? Is that not what a fillet is?
I'm not sure, John. Sounds nice anyway, doesn't it? Fillet steak. I'm
not sure. I'm not a cook. I just throw stuff in the oven, or I throw it in the frying pan, or wherever it's got to go, I throw it in.
That's it. I'll maybe mention it to the wife and see what happens.
Aye, instead of making steak tonight, going to make it a fillet of steak. She'll be like, what?
It's worth a try, but sounds nice anyway. What else was it, John? What else did you like? Turnip and cabbage, was it?
Cabbage, I like cabbage
I love
and
cabbage.
mushrooms as well.
Oh, I love mushrooms. Aye, I agree with everything there, Michael. And it's good to have you back, Michael. I think you were missing the last couple of weeks. It's good to have you back, buddy.
Aye, it's always good to have Michael back. He always leaves a wee funny comment, and he also says his favourite movie was The Outlaw Josie Wales.
Outlaw Joseph Wales. It's not my favourite movie. It's a decent film, isn't it? But I'll maybe do that next week, John. I'm going to go through a quick one or two answer, this or that, A or B with you, John, and it gives the listeners a wee idea into you. Like, for example, Lennon or McCartney, and you just pick one. We'll do 20 of them, John. You up for that?
Aye, go for it.
Yeah, we'll do that next week, right, John, in the next podcast.
For me, it's all about McCartney, by the way. But I've just looked up what a fillet actually means. I can't believe I don't know this. But a fillet is a strip of meat or fish that has no bones in it. Well, steak doesn't have bones in it, really, does it?
No, it's just a T-bone.
Nah, T-bone steak, aye.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It'll make me hungry, by the way. I'm starving.
So it's basically meat with no bones in it. That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, I never knew that, so that gave us something to talk. The Outlaw Josie Wales, I quite like it. I think it's a pretty good film. It's not my favourite Clint Eastwood film. I do love Clint Eastwood, but that's not one of my favourites. I have to admit. Sorry, I have to admit. My favourite Clint Eastwood Western is The Good, the Bad and Ugly. Without doubt, it's just a classic, Xander.
It is, and I think it is my favourite as well when it comes to Clint Eastwood. But I also liked the Dirty Harry films, so some of them were quite good. Different class, Clint Eastwood, didn't he?
I love Clint Eastwood. Every Which Way But Loose. What a brilliant film. I know you've not seen it because I asked you before and you said you hadn't seen it, but the bikers in that, it's Aberdeen just scored. It's 2-1 to Aberdeen.
There you go.
The bikers in Every Which Way But Loose, Sander, absolutely amazing. And finishing up with Michael's comment, he says his favourite podcast is the Celtic Forever podcast. Can't disagree with that either.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
This is the best one. Anyway, we would know. Thanks for your comment, Michael. That gave us a lot to talk about.
Keep them coming in, pals. Good to have you back.
Aye. Totally agree with that. Next up was We Would Never Sell a Club. Says, John, your Conor Barron look-alike. The line from The Wizard of Oz was hilarious, but Xander has just pipped it with his version of his line from The Wizard of Oz with Derek Adams from last season.
That's right, aye. Well, two of them are sort of similar looking guys, aren't they? Derek Adams and Conor Barron. That might be his dad. You never know.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just the bags under the eyes, maybe Conor Barron. It made me think that. But keep that stuff for the Rivals Corner.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, moving on then.
Thanks for that. We would never sell a club.
Thanks, pal. Thank you.
Roseanne says she forgot about Father Ted. And I liked Father Ted. I thought Father Ted it's one of my favourite comedies. I'm all for that kind of stuff, the Irish comedy, Scottish comedy, English comedy. And Father Ted's right up there. Xander be my favourite. It's probably in my top 5.
Yeah, Father Ted outstanding. If anybody's wondering what we're talking about, we said on yesterday's podcast for people to leave their comments, but they like films, food, anything like that, we'll discuss it, so that's why we're talking about this. Father Ted is just different class, John, different class.
Oh, aye. It's definitely in my top 5. If I was to give you my top 5 comedies, that would be probably number 5. There you go.
Yeah. We'll maybe do that, I know, as well, John. We'll maybe do that, when there's an international break on or whatever, we'll go through some favourites. Yeah, that's a good idea, John.
Aye, definitely, aye. Father Ted's definitely one of my favourite comedies, Xander. So thanks for that, Roseanne.
Yeah, thanks, Roseanne.
James Doran was up next. He says, Hambrox is Sevco's new ground. Hambrox, Xander.
Hambrox. I don't know, John. It's the fact that they've got, as you say, placards there with the Rangers Football Club. I've not seen it myself yet, mind you, but that's got to be taken down. That stadium has nothing to do with Rangers Football Club. They're only borrowing that, and they should think themselves lucky that the SFA are allowing them to use Hampden Park, to be honest with you.
Aye, I know. I seen a photo. The main stand, the main entry point, they've got big placards up, Rangers Football Club outside it. Get it toned down. Nothing to do with you. I keep saying it. It just it's quite laughable, really. But I suppose it's maybe to encourage the players that and sausage fingers.
Encourage your players putting pictures of sausage fingers up to beat Motherwell reserves. Yeah, well done. Yeah, brilliant result for them. Brilliant.
Motivational stuff, Sander. You can't whack it.
That's it.
So thanks for that, James. Hambrocks, I've heard it being called that before.
Yeah, thanks for that, James. Appreciate the comment, pal.
Next up was Paul McComb. He says he gets drenched because he's 4 rows behind the goals. And the plus is I headed the ball back onto the pitch during a Glasgow Derby warm-up.
There you go. He headed it back. There you go. He must be quite young then, Paul, and fit and energetic, Stood up here on the ball when the ball comes to him in the stadium. Yeah. He got shocked, John, because I said to everybody last week, remember, not to bring your jacket. It was going to be a nice sunny day, and it ended up pouring the rain. So what he's saying is basically that it was nothing to do with that. It was just because he was right at the front of the stadium last weekend against Kilmarnock.
Aye. Bad advice.
I know, it's not going to let this one go, are we?
No. Anyway, thanks for that, Paul. Let's batter through the last few comments here, Xander.
Yeah.
Roseanne says, oh my God, guys, what a fabulous podcast. Here we go. Score prediction 3-0. Unlucky Roseanne. I says 3-1, by the way. Oh, by the way, Xander got the score prediction right. You says 2-0, Xander. And you go 1-0 in front in the predictor.
John, do you want to know something? The predictor, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's good. But the bet builder was right as well. That's the first winner on the bet builder. Half time, full time, less than 4 goals, and Celtic to win both halves, was it? I think it was. I need to look back at my notes. But the bet builder won, John. There you go. The first bet builder was 5-1. So congratulations, anybody put a couple of pound on that.
Aye, well done, Xander, and your bet builder as well. I was asking you yesterday, has any of them actually ever won? And you says no,
Yeah.
but there's your first one. So well done, and well done for getting your score predictor right.
Yeah, John, thank you. I just hope somebody put a couple of pound on it because I didn't put anything on it. First bet builder up. So congratulations to anybody that put a wee couple of pound on that.
Aye, well done, Xander. Xander takes the lead. It's 1-0 in the score predictor.
Yeah, score predictor as well. Just to run through the bet builder, John, let's have a wee look at it. Half time, full time, so that one. Under 4 goals, so that one. And both teams not to score, so that one as well. So yeah, I hope somebody listened and put a few quid on it, John. That's all I can say.
Well, let's hope. They probably listened to your previous advice and saying, forget it, man.
Well, maybe they'll listen in future, John, and put a wee bet on it. No, I wouldn't encourage anybody to bet. It's just a bit of fun, John. Gamble responsibly.
And Roseanne also says the best American comedies is The Honeymooners and Bilko. And Roseanne, I never watched Roseanne in my life. Bilko, I like Bilko. The Honeymooners, Ichi Peachy, 50-50, take it or leave it, Xander. But I did like Bilko.
Bilko was brilliant. The guy was hilarious. Way ahead of his time when it comes to comedy. He was just very funny. Phil Silvers, wasn't it, John? Phil Silvers, Bilko. Roseanne, I didn't watch it. I've never seen it. And The Honeymooners, different class. Hilarious.
Oh, you
comedy.
like that?
Aye, hilarious comedy for its time, John.
Honeymooners, the wee bits I've watched at my dad's. Jackie Gleason. Hello to my man Da who listen all the time. It's really, really glad that he's listening. And they like The Honeymooners as well. And what's the other one? Bilko. Don't know about Roseanne right enough. What's his name? The guy that I like was in Roseanne, but I didn't watch it. What's his name? John Goodman.
John Goodman, yeah.
I never
ever watched Roseanne, John. But no, there are 2 Roseanne fun I've mentioned. Top quality comedy.
Aye, and our favourite meal's chicken curry. There you go, chicken curry. I like a wee chicken curry myself.
Right, okay. Before you move on, John, that's a debate in itself. Is it an Indian chicken curry? Is it a Chinese chicken curry? What kind of chicken curry is it, Roseanne? So you need to leave us a comment, pal. What kind of chicken curry is it that you like?
I'm guessing Chinese.
Aye, I say Chinese, John. But it might be Indian. You never know. Just leave us a wee comment, Roseanne. Let us know.
I'm not a fan of Indian food at all, Xander. I don't like it. But there you go. I prefer the Chinese food, to be honest with you. I think it's just 100 times better.
Yeah, I'm the same. There's a couple of things I like out the Indian takeaways. I like the chicken pakora. That's no bad. I like a wee chicken korma every now and again, John.
No, it's no for me. No for me, that stuff, Xander. Even their pizzas and all that. I'm not a pizza lover, really.
Mm-hmm.
Kebabs. Not a big kebab lover. Used to like a kebab years ago, but nah, I wouldn't touch that stuff.
Yeah. No. So let us know, Roseanne. Let us know what kind of chicken curry it is you like, pal.
Thanks for that, Roseanne. That gave us a few wee things to talk about that.
Yeah, thanks, Roseanne. Cheers, pal.
And anybody that's new to the channel, we're talking about this because we were asking people what their favourite stuff was. And here's a more Celtic-related comment. If Maeda plays today, Celtic will dismantle Hibs and put at least 3 goals past them. That was we would never sell a club.
Right, another good comment, John. Maeda obviously didn't start, right? He came on. What did you think of Maeda? Maeda. What did you think of Maeda when he came on, John? Do you think it made a difference? Do you think he looked quite slow? I didn't think he did his usual shutting down, chasing down, did he?
No, he's not played for a couple of games. He's just warming up, Xander. It's just a wee warm-up for him, I think. He get nutmegged as well. So that wasn't good.
No. It's good to see him back, don't get me wrong. But just that used to seeing Dyson, shutting everything down at 100 mile an hour. I take it they get very hot, as you say, John, and the game is almost over as well, wasn't it? So the points were in the bag. So I suppose he didn't really need to do all that 100 mile an hour stuff.
Nah, it was just warming up, Sanders, getting himself ready for the next game. That's all it is.
Okay, all right, John. Moving on.
Maybe. His haircut's looking good as well.
He's looking good. He's looking good. He's got a nice hairstyle there now with a sort of the tint and the dye into it.
Aye. I think that's always find that hard to watch, somebody that's got a good head of hair and they shave it off. That annoys me, that. Because I've not got any hair.
I know. He looks smart with his new hairstyle, John. So he'll be back to his best next week. That's all I can say in that matter.
I remember a neighbour saying to me years ago when I was younger, I think I was maybe 22, something like that, 23, maybe 25 actually, I don't remember, but I used to shave my hair off a number 2 or whatever it was back then. And he was baldy and he says to me, that's sacrilegious, that. He says, I hate that. He says, somebody with a full head of hair shaving it off because he was baldy.
Yeah.
And it's not in recent times I've started to realise what he meant. It is. When I see it now, it's like, why? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, that's it, John. It's so Dyson's done the opposite, hasn't he? He's grown his hair and got rid of the bulge, so he's got the right idea. If you like your long hair, that is. But he's looking quite smart, John, and we're looking forward to getting Dyson back into the starting 11.
I can't wait to get Dyson back up to speed. Anyway, thanks for that comment. We would never sell a club.
Thanks, Paul.
One club since 1888 says Lions and Donnelly will get their comeuppance. Refs are protecting the Butchers versus Celtic.
John, that's a brilliant point, isn't it? The refs are protecting the Butchers. That's how accurate is that? That's they're getting away scot-free with these disgusting tackles, especially the one in Parma, right? We're going back to that, right? But how did that boy get away with that, John? These Celtic players are getting no protection, zero protection. I keep saying it. Is that why Parma wasn't on the bench today? Wasn't he playing the day because he's feeling the ill effects from last week, John? That's a possibility. We just need protection for the Celtic players, John. That's all we're looking for.
Aye, well, we spoke about this at length yesterday, about the protection the Celtic players don't get. I mean, I say it time and time again, we need to get the Celtic players protected because players are going into Celtic players and getting away with it. They're just the rough hand treatment, and they're getting away with it. At worst, they're getting a yellow card for tackles that are worthy of 3 match bans and red cards. So, aye, it's a good comment. Thanks for that one, Club.
Yeah, good comment. Thanks, pal.
Roseanne says, "You two better get something to eat." Look, we're only talking about food because we're asking people what their favourite stuff is.
Yeah, she's right. I need to go and get something to eat because that's it's good talking about it, but it does make you hungry.
Aye, well, I want something to eat, so we'll get through these comments as quick as possible.
All right.
James was back in. He says, "No disrespect to Scotland, but Cal Mack was right to retire from the national team and focus now on Celtic for the rest of his playing career." I agree with that. I'm glad he's retired, Xander.
Yeah, case in point today. Look at his performance today.
His performance today was outstanding, and you had big Stevie Clark in the crowd watching. I'm sure he was. I don't know who was there to watch, but he'd have one eye on Callum and thinking, can't I believe he's finished up.
Yeah, I remember he's in the crowd, John, to watch Greg Taylor, who didn't pick during the Euros. Remember what a waste of time it was for that boy going all there, all the way over there, interrupting his summer holiday to sit on the bench for 3 games. So, well done, the Scotland manager, for giving Greg Taylor his chance. Maybe he was there to watch him, John.
It was unreal that Greg never got a shout at the Euros, but aye. I'd rather Ross Celtic players stayed out the Scotland team, to be honest with you. I don't want them playing for international teams. I just hate it when international break comes around because you're always concerned, are they going to come back without an injury? I know, look, football players, they love playing for their country, so I can understand that. But I'm just, for a selfish point of view, I'd rather that they never play for their international teams.
Yeah, because you're crossing your fingers every time Scotland play, or every time there's an international break, John. It's a worry, especially we get a couple of injuries, John, this season. We've not signed anybody. We're in trouble. That's a couple of, say, Matt O'Reilly, Kyogo, and McGregor gets injured. What do we do then?
Pray.
Yeah.
We need to get a big. On you go, Xander.
Sorry, John. That's why we need the signings in, and we need plenty, John. We need 3 or 4 signings in before this transfer window closes.
I've said that time and time again. It's not just a player or two we need. We need about 4 or 5 players, and so far we've had nothing. But see what this week brings us.
Yeah, that's it. We'll keep an eye on that in midweek, John, because if we do sign anybody, there might be a podcast in midweek.
Aye, well, let's hope we can get something over the line this week, even if it's just Adam either. Just get it over the line.
That's
get the Celtic fans excited with our new signings, Xander.
That's it. Yeah, well said.
Lubo25 says captain should retire from the League Cup as well, even for the final. 300 games in 5 years is bonkers. Well, it is bonkers.
Yeah, John, you mentioned that yesterday, didn't you, on the podcast? About the amount of games that Callum's played. I don't know if he should stop playing the League Cup, because we'll need him in the League Cup, especially if we come up against teams like Aberdeen, Rangers, Dundee United, Hearts, Hibs. So I wouldn't rest him for the League Cup, but I would rest him whenever we can. Let's put it that way, like 2 or 3-0 up, take him off with 20 minutes to go. Things like that, John.
Aye, exactly. Aye. No, I don't want Cal Mack missing from the League Cup games. I'd like Callum to be there because I don't know, he's just a top class player. He very, very seldom gets injured as well. Mm-hmm. He's got a very good record in that department. So, Cal Mack is, if he's retired from Scotland, I'm happy with that. Leave it there, Xander. But when it comes to the domestic stuff and European stuff, I want him in every game.
Aye, yeah. I know what we're both saying. We need to sort of wrap in cotton wool because the football is played. People that play these amount of games, John, have a short football career. So yeah, I know what we're both saying. I know exactly what you're saying, but give him 20 minutes, a game here or there, take him off, 20 minutes to go when you're cruising in games. That'll give Callum plenty of rest that he needs.
Aye, well, that's it. He will get rested during games that maybe, we don't really feel we need to play him. You've got Iwata there who does an outstanding job as a deputy for Cal Mack. Not a deputy captain, but he stands in, he fits well in that position. So, aye, I think we need to start giving Iwata more game time as well, Xander.
Yeah, I agree with that, John. He's a top quality player, Iwata. You know, he's gone nowhere. Let's put that way. If Iwata was no use, John, he'd be out on loan or whatever, John. But Brendan, he wants him in that team. He wants him in the squads. He's a good player. He's always there, ready to stand in whenever Callum is injured or he's taken off as a sub. So, yeah, I'd maybe give Iwata some more time and give Callum that 10, 20 minutes every now and again, John. That's a good point for Lubo, actually.
Aye. Well, we'll see what happens there again. But I agree. I think like Iwata, he's a top quality player, and it's unfortunate for him that he plays in the same position as Callum McGregor. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and in saying that, John, you look at the performance Callum put in the day for the full 90 minutes. So he hasn't shown that he's tired or anything like that. So we're just going to wait and see what happens, John. It's Callum normally plays every game in the season, and I don't think that's going to change, is it?
No, he's only 31. He's no 35, 36. You know, he's still a young player. Still got a good few years left in him. I think he'll play till he's about 36, Callum. So, aye. He doesn't look tired. He never looks tired. He never looks phased. Top quality player. And like I says, it's just unfortunate for Iwata that the player that he's trying to push out the team is one of Scotland's best players, and definitely Scotland's best captain.
Yeah, John, that's it. Definitely. But Iwata's time will come.
Aye, thanks for that, Lubo. Next up, Joseph Agnew. He says, Hail, Xander. Sevco's first goal was miles offside. I've still not seen that game, Xander.
No, I've seen the last 5 minutes, John. All I saw was the referee had him on 2 minutes at the end of the game, which never happens. 2 minutes, you know, it's 30 seconds for each substitute. So why there was only 2 minutes added when Motherwell were pounding Rangers' box the last 5 minutes anyway, I don't understand that. But if the goal was offside, what was it, referred to VAR, and they've overlooked it, I'm not sure, John, what happened with any of the goals or anything like that, to be honest with you. But it wouldn't surprise me.
I've seen nothing of that game. All I know is the score, and that's all I really need to know. Anyway, thanks for that, Joseph. Next up was Chris. Chris D. He says, a Rangers podcast admitted themselves Hearts should have had a penalty by the current letter of the law. Aye, I'm not going to read the full comments out because we're running out of time, so we'll read the bits that's important. And he goes on about blatant cheating and all of that. Look, Chris, I think that was there's definitely cheating going on there, Xander.
Yeah, especially when you've got VAR there, John, to look at it. That's the mystery. That's what VAR was brought in for, to cut out any mistakes by referees, things that they've missed. But VAR's just making it worse, especially when it comes to Rangers, because, as Chris says, you'll not get a more Stonewall penalty than that.
Oh, it was a Stonewall. Definitely cheating going on. I totally agree with Chris 100%. What else was Chris saying? He says they play first every week, every season. They play first every week, every season. Cup ties the lot. It's a sham. Aye, they always do play first.
That's another good point, isn't it, John? Look at last season. Rangers played first just about every single week. I think it was later on in the season when we started playing our game first. You know, that's when we were starting to turn it around. That's when we started playing our games first. But as you say, John, look at this season. Last week, this week, next week, and the week after that, Rangers play first, and every weekend, John, every weekend, 4 games there, Rangers play first, Celtic play on the Sunday.
Aye, and they also get a lot of double, treble, quadruple games in a row at home.
Yeah, because that's going to be 3 games at home, John. This weekend, next weekend, and the weekend after that. So that's 3 games at home, 1 in the cup and 2 at home in the league.
Well, we spent a lot of time talking about that last season. The amount of games they get in a row at home is unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and we spent a long time talking about last season as well, about them playing first all the time. So that's points that we covered last season, Chris, and it's happening again this season.
Yeah, very, very start of the season. You're in the first 4 games. They play on the Saturday, we play on the Sunday. And the only time we get to play them in the same day is when we play them. John, the only time we get to play before them, sorry, or at the same time as they when we actually play them. So every game before that, we play after them, John. So yeah, great comment for Krista.
Thanks for that, Chris. Sorry for reading between the lines. I was trying to pick out the most important bits, and
Cheers, Chris. Thanks, pal.
That's the bits that count, Chris. And thanks very much for your comment, mate. It's always good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Keep the comments coming, Chris, if you don't mind.
And the last comment goes to Joseph Agnew again. Joseph says, "Hail, Xander and John. 25 million is far too cheap. KT, Jota, and others went far too cheap." I think KT and Jota went for too cheap, Xander.
That's a tough one. I'd say Tierney. Yeah, I think Tierney was cheap. He could have went for a bit more than what he did. I think Kieran, especially going into the English Premier League, John, the money is no issue. I think Kieran could have maybe sold for 30 million, 35 possibly. He's just an outstanding defender, but maybe his injuries hampered his price tag there. And Jota, well, he went to Saudi Arabia, didn't he? So I think we've got a fair price for him.
Aye, I think a fair price for Jota and KT. I don't know. That was a few years ago, mind you. But look, KT's constantly injured. He's just a player I'm glad Celtic are no linked with anymore, because I wouldn't want him back at Celtic due to the injuries that he gets.
Yeah, it's too much of a risk, John. That's why Brendan's not went anywhere near him. Too much of a risk.
Well, Joseph also thinks Matt O'Reilly's worth between 30 and 40 million.
Agree. Totally agree. There's nothing else to say on that, John. I agree with that. Especially if he's gone down to England, as I say, as well. Matt O'Reilly is a top performer, John. So, yeah, 30, between 30 and 35, between 30 and 40 possibly, yeah. I think he's worth more than the 25 that, Brighton have put in for him. I think he's worth more than 25, to be honest with you.
I think Celtic are looking for the top end of the estimate, into 25 to 30. I think Celtic's looking closer to the 30. But I definitely think he's worth 25 to 30 million. It's not a lot to these English Premiership teams. They get the money for nothing anyway, but they complain about.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And Joseph also says, "Why Celtic ladies can get players in, score 9 goals. The boys' team should take a leaf out of the ladies' team."
That was a good result for the ladies, wasn't it? Just football finish up on that, actually. Celtic 9, Dundee United 0. Good start for the champions there, John. The ladies showing how it's done. Got a good performance, a good result. And let's just hope the ladies can continue that as the season goes on.
Aye, they finished. They won the league last season. Finished quite strong. So aye. I'll watch the ladies' league with interest this season. See how they go on this season, Xander. Aye.
Yeah, that's it, John. That's it. It'll be interesting to watch. Go for 2 hours, won't they? Wee quick update on the scores, John. Aberdeen 3, St Mirren 1, Kilmarnock 0, St Johnstone 2. So that's Aberdeen are playing well, John. They're flying just now.
Aye, and that's a tricky game against St Mirren. I've been watching St Mirren. They've been pretty consistent and a half decent team. But aye, the TV's behind me, so I can't watch the game. I just hear a wee cheer now and again, and I turn around. I'm too late. The ball's in the net.
Aye, that's it, John. It's they're absolutely flying, John. And if you want some ladies' results, John, just before we finish, Partick Thistle 1, Hibernian 2. That's full time. Spartans 1, Motherwell 5. That's also full time. Montrose 0, Glasgow City 7, full time. Queen's Park 1, Hearts 9. Some close games here, Johnny. Queen's Park 1, Hearts 9. That's 85 on the clock. And Aberdeen 0, Rangers 2, 34 minutes on the clock. So that's you right up to date with all your scorelines and results so far, John.
Aye, you sure that's not a game of FIFA you're watching?
I know, it's some of the scores are quite funny, aren't they? But it doesn't matter about the rest. As long as the Celtic ladies are winning, that's all that counts. Right, John, let's wrap that up there. Right, John, thank you for reading all the comments out. Thanks to everybody that left a comment as well. We really do appreciate it. Celtic, top of the league again, John. Top of the league, flying high, cruising, playing well. What else can you say about Celtic just now, apart from long may that continue? Next game up for us is against Hibs next Sunday in the League Cup. So we're looking for a good result and performance there. We'll be back next Saturday for the preview of the Hibs game. Remember the competition as well. Correct score, one guess each. Everybody get into the comments. And we'll catch you, John, next Saturday.
I'll see you next week, Sander. Hail, hail, mate.
Hail, hail, John. Catch you later.
Basket.